Hey guys, Allison from Crafting Boss here, and today we're going to walk you through how to make this awesome crafty rustic wood ornament that you can hang on your wall or your front door. We're going to give you a list of all the materials that you need and give you step-by-step instructions to make this project as easy as possible. Let's get started with step one. The first thing you'll need to do is purchase all of your supplies. We have a full list of what you'll need in the video description below. We bought most of our supplies at Lowe's and Michael's, but you can really shop wherever you prefer. To get started, you'll want to take your 5 1.5 inch by 3 foot pine boards and measure and mark the halfway point on each one, which will be 18 inches. We then used a chop saw to cut them in half on the lines that we made. If you don't have a chop saw, you could always use a circular saw, table saw, or any other type of saw that you might already own. Just be sure to wear protective eye and ear wear for safety while cutting. Once all 5 pieces have been cut, you'll want to take 8 of the 10 pieces and line them up, placing small spacers in between the ends of each piece. For our spacers, we used some already cut pieces of leftover 1x4, but you can really use anything that you have laying around the house. This could include nickels or other coins, washers or nuts, water bottle lids, or so on. Make sure to number your boards so that you remember the order to place them in after the next step. Next, you'll want to trace your circle. We used an 18-inch wooden round, but depending on the final size you're aiming for, you could use a bucket, kitchen pot lids, or any other circular item that you have available at home. Now you'll need to use a jigsaw to cut on your lines to start forming the shape of your circle. Again, be sure to wear protective eye and ear wear for this step. After all the cutting is complete, you'll want to briefly sand the edges of the wood and then move on to staining the fronts, backs, sides, and edges of each piece of wood. You'll see that we opted to not stain the back of our project, but doing so gives it a much nicer and cleaner look. Be sure to keep track of the board order and numbering even when staining. Painter's tape can work great for helping with this. In addition to staining the 8 pieces of your circle, you will want to also stain the extra 2 pieces, which will eventually be used as the back to hold your project together. I suggest letting your stain dry overnight before continuing with your project. While your stain dries, you can prep your bow, the aluminum topper, and the floral selection if you'd like. To create the ridged aluminum topper, we actually took a roll of 10x10 aluminum flashing, measured up from the edge around 3.5 inches on each side, connected the measurements with a line, and then we used a pair of tin snips to cut on the line. We then took that piece and worked it on the edge of a table, folding it back and forth to create the texture we were looking for. All right, only a few steps left to create your amazing rustic holiday project. Now that your stain is dry, it's finally time for assembly. Lay out your circle with the back facing up and the spacers in place towards the edges. Then line your two back supports up, keeping the extra wood hanging over the top of the circle and keeping the bottom of the circle flush with the wood. You'll then want to secure the back supports to the rest of the circle. As you will see, we used hot glue. While it did hold, it wasn't as secure as I would have liked it to be. Instead, I would suggest using small wood staples or even wood glue or Gorilla Glue that you can let dry for a few hours. Once secure, you can remove the spacers and work on attaching the aluminum topper. We put ours in place and marked it, and then bent the sides into that marked measurement to help ensure that the aluminum would lay as flat as possible on the back when we did attach it. We again used hot glue to secure the aluminum to the wood. Be sure to use a lot of glue and press it flat against the wood, holding it for a few seconds as it dries. Next, use hot glue to attach twine or ribbon to the back of the wooden circle. Make sure that the twine or ribbon is long enough to hang up above the top of the aluminum topper. You will use this piece to hang your project, so you'll want to ensure that it is attached securely. Finally, you can use thin wire or even fishing line to attach your pine needle bunch and your bow. Try to keep the wire hidden and any extra wrapped around to the back where you can easily trim it down. Feel free to get creative here and use a floral piece and bow that best fits your personality and style. Alright, I hope that this tutorial was nice and easy and you were able to understand all the steps to create one of these beautiful wall hanging ornaments for yourself. The only other thing I want to mention is with this, if you have a Cricut or a Silhouette, you can always go one step further, with which we're not going to show you today, and actually personalize this a little bit. So you can use the Cricut or Silhouette to cut out either vinyl or a stencil, and you can use one of your palette slices here to put on maybe words such as Happy Holidays, Merry Christmas, or even a last name if you're gifting it to a family or somebody's purchasing it. Maybe they want to hang it on their front door and would like a little bit of personalization. That's just one way to take it one step further to customize it for when you're putting it on the market in your area. So again, I hope you enjoyed. Make sure if you have any questions, you leave them in the comments below. Like our video and be sure to subscribe to our channel as well. That way you're always up to date with any new videos that we're posting with lots of fun crafts yet to come.